What is good, everybody? This week's film review is going to focus on Kool-Aid, McKinstry, Saints second round draft pick from last year. Saw a bunch of playing time last year. I think he, played a lot more than the Saints really expected him to coming in to that season, but a lot of that is due to injury and of course then trading Marshawn Lattimore. So he got quite a bit of play time, which is good, right? You really want to develop your rookie year so that you can come in year two and hit the ground running. And he is going to get that opportunity because he's going to be a starter this year, a projected starter. He's going to be the man on the outside. Alontae Taylor bumping back to that nickel position. Then on the other side there, who knows what will happen? Will it be Quincy Riley? There's a couple of other guys really competing for that spot. But we know that Kool-Aid McKinstry is going to be one of those starters on the outside. So I decided to pick a game from, this is actually the very last game of the season last year, because I wanted to see how he developed throughout the whole season, right? I didn't want to watch his first, second, third game. I wanted to watch his final game of the season to see how he really developed last year and get an idea of what we can expect going into year two. So without further ado, let's watch Kool-Aid McKinstry here versus the Bucks. Now, first play down here. Okay, looks like he's going to be press coverage, man coverage, right? Real tight coverage there. Real smooth on the stop. Probably gets away with a little bit of a flag here. It was actually called a flag, but that was actually holding on Ugo Amadi over here, who's another guy that's going to be competing in there for one of them corner positions. But again, focusing on Kool-Aid, again, tight man-to-man. I like how he stays patient and stays square, right? Stays low as well. Look how low he is. Look how square he is. Just waiting for the wide receiver to make his move. The wide receiver will always take you where he's going to go, right? Stay low, stay square in that back pedal. As soon as he sees this receiver put his head down and take off, he does the same thing, tracks him, eyes on him the entire way. And watch this. Right when the receiver stops for his break, Kool-Aid does the same thing, right? Now we just got to not, get that little holding there at the end. And this would be a fine rep here from Kool-Aid McKinstry. And it still is, right? Again, like watch him stop on his break right when that receiver drops his hips, right? Able to stop on a dime. And yeah, good coverage, first rep. Good stuff. All right, next one here, same sort of thing, bottom of the screen. And this time it's, essentially the same route. This is Sterling Shepard, decent receiver in the league for a long time now, shifty guy. And he's just going to run a deep comeback or curl here. And again, I like the Kool-Aid, the patience from Kool-Aid. I like the Kool-Aid, that's funny. I like the patience from Kool-Aid here again, right? Staying low, square. Gets a little hands on him, right? Gets a little physical. We are playing press coverage. Like to see hands on. Boom. Gets a little bit of physicality right there. But again, he sees the receiver take off. What looks like a fade. He tracks it. He's got eyes on him the whole time. Tracking his hip. He sees him slow down. He sees the receiver, sort of get low for his break. Guess what he does? Same thing, right? Again, a little physical at the top of the route, which I don't mind. This right here you can get away with, right? Again, I like it. All right, this is excellent coverage from Kool-Aid McKinstry. Square out of the stance right here. Square, patient, hands on. Look for that receiver to stop. You do the same. Drop your hips. Get your eyes back for that ball. All right, next one here going against Mike Evans. Going to start up here at the top. Okay, Mike Evans going to go in motion. Kool-Aid's going to follow him. Right, the Bucks are going to get into a 3-by-1. They're really just trying to run like some mesh concept here. Right, you're just going to get this guy coming across, this guy coming across. You're going to get Mike Evans here end up trying to get on this breaker, right? And all this mess, all this traffic here is really just to create some picks or rubs to get a guy open. And you can see, again, the patience that Kool-Aid shows. He doesn't really force anything on this play. Doesn't get himself caught up in the wash to, get one of these receivers or to get Mike Evans open. So you can see here 15 coming straight through the middle, right? Bucks are hoping that kind of creates a pick right here, but you can see he's staying off, right? He's not like, at the snap, he's not like coming down on him. He's staying patient. He's got eyes on his man, waits for the traffic to clear, for Mike Evans to make his move. He tries to give a little shake and bake, but he's 105 years old, so it doesn't work. Breaks to the outside. Kool-Aid McKinstry's right there. Baker Mayfield throws it his way, but it's incomplete. This is a really nice job by the rookie right here. And doesn't get caught up in the wash, doesn't take the bait, doesn't panic when he sees all these receivers or all these, guys coming his way. Stays square, makes a play. Good stuff. All right, next one. This is the first sort of, negative play, or, I don't want to say negative, but kind of just a knock on him here. So it looks like the Saints are going to be in quarters coverage. So it essentially just turns into cover zero, man to man, if the guy in front of you goes vertical. The Bucks, this is a pretty nifty play here. So they're going to essentially switch release these guys, right? So they're going to have Mike Evans come outside, and this receiver come inside and sort of sit right here. And then Mike Evans is going to have an in breaker, right? And pre-snap, it sort of looks something like this, right? It's what the coverage would be. But with that switch release post-snap right there, all of a sudden, Mike Evans here becomes Kool-Aid's guy, right? And the only thing that I would critique here is just a little bit more effort, a little bit more, what's the word I want to use? Urgency breaking on the ball here, right? You see what's the play developing in front of you, right? We see the stopper here. We see him coming on the end breaker, and we kind of just jog instead of closing in on it a little more with a little more effort than we like to see, right? So nothing too crazy, right? Just a little more effort, a little more urgency, I guess is the right word I want to use here. You see it right there. We need to be driving as hard as possible, right? And it kind of just looks like he's sort of jogging to it a little bit there. Next one here, this ends up being a completion, but this is more the urgency and the effort I like to see right here. If you're going to have to break on a ball, especially playing in off coverage like he is. I mean, this play, he's playing way off, like, 10 yards off here, okay? And you're going to see the receiver or tight end, I'm not sure what he is, 87 here, is just going to run an outbreaker. And this is how you break on a ball, right? Again, it's completed. It's a good timing ball by Baker Mayfield, but this is the urgency. This is the effort you like to see from Kool-Aid McKinstry here on it, right? We're reading it, boom, get that T-step, right? So when we see the break, we sort of take that step with our outside foot, replace it with our inside foot right there. Really good technique. Break on it. Almost gets there. Almost gets there for the pass breakup. But this is the effort you like to see. And again, this is just a really well-timed ball from Baker Mayfield. I mean, he's throwing this thing before the receiver is even out of his break. So completed pass, but I like the effort and I like the technique here on this play from Kool-Aid McKinstry. All right, next one here, down at the goal line, they try him one-on-one in a fade versus Mike Evans. Of course, Evans, one of the best big body receivers of this generation. All right, and Kool-Aid holds his own here, right? Incomplete. All right, we like to see it. Nice, tight press coverage. Again, like, you like how low he plays. You like how square he plays. Doesn't open his hips. Doesn't bite on the fake. Look at him fake at the inside, the jab step inside Mike Evans. Doesn't bite on it. Stays square to the line of scrimmage. And he's physical. Mike Evans gets physical with him. He gets physical right back, right? The refs let a lot go on these goal line fades in terms of contact. So he's fighting. They're fighting the whole way through. He's got eyes on the ball. Incomplete. That's a beautiful, beautiful rep right there down at the goal line by Kool-Aid McKinstry against one of the league's best wide receivers. Next one here, again, reacting to an outbreaker, and it's so apparent how smooth he is and how instinctive he is and quick to react he is when he sees the play develop, when he sees the route develop, I should say, right? Again, playing way off here, okay? But as soon as he sees that receiver even slightly turn his shoulders, I mean, like literally, like slightly turn his shoulders, he's already initiating his T-step break. Right, he's got the foot, plants the foot, replaces it behind it, and breaks on the ball. And I mean, look how fast he closes the speed here. Ball doesn't go that way, but the closing speed here, boom. That's it. Like, it's open now, and now it's not. Really good stuff there from Kool-Aid McKinstry. And you can just tell how good he is when he's able to break on the ball super, super quick in those types of plays. Another really good red zone clip here. Once again, going against Mike Evans. This time Evans looks to fake outside and break it back inside for the slant. But once again, Kool-Aid, really good technique, right? And we also get a defender dropping into the area where the slant would have been, but you get the point. So let's play this thing here. Mike Evans, like I said, he's going to try and fake this thing outside. Boom, right there. And you can see Kool-Aid almost opens his hips here and bites on it, right? Halfway does, but at the same time stays super square for that, right? Like, yes, we are biting on it. Yes, we are, sort of opening our hips here, but at the same time, we're kind of not. We're kind of still staying square, and we use that inside hand just to slow him down a little bit because we know we sort of bit on this move, right? Now, we didn't do it to the extreme. We didn't, completely turn our hips to the sideline. If we did, this is going to be wide open, and just pretending like this guy's not here. Okay. So even he knows that he did sort of bite on it just a little bit. So he's able to use that inside hand to slow that down just to give him enough time to flip those hips back around and get back in position to make a play on the ball. Keeps his hand on the hips at all times, tracking him. And the play ends eventually, right? He still throws it to Mike Evans. And you can see Kool-Aid McKinstry gets the pass breakup. Like, this is probably his best rep of this whole game, right? Almost bites on it, but not really. Still stays in position to make a play. Hand on the hip the entire time, keeping his eyes, right? Fights throughout the entire play. He's looking back at the quarterback, which I don't love, right? You always, if you're in man coverage, you want to stick with your man. Don't worry about what the quarterback is doing. I don't love that part, but everything else is phenomenal. We get a little push off from Mike Evans, no problem. We still are right here closing in on this thing. Baker Mayfield throws this thing thinking it's open, right? And maybe for a split second it was, but the closing speed here from Kool-Aid was just phenomenal, right? Look at the closing speed, right? Now it's open. Boom, ball's in there, we close on it, and we get a pass breakup. That is a phenomenal rep from Kool-Aid McKinstry right there, and probably the best one from this entire game. So, all in all, I think Kool-Aid McKinstry had a really promising rookie season. He was phenomenal in this game, and it was really nice to see him develop as the season went along, because again, I think he ended up playing a little bit more than the Saints anticipated. I know they took him in the second round, but it seemed like they really kind of had things shored up before some injuries and stuff. But this year, he's going to be a huge factor in what the Saints' success or failure looks like on defense. They're getting a new defensive coordinator, Brandon Staley, and it's going to look totally different. They're running a totally different scheme, so it's going to be really interesting to see what Kool-Aid McKinstry can do. And I think he's a really good fit for this scheme, because Brandon Staley calls a lot of pattern matching, a lot of match coverage, which in turn just turns into man coverage, uh, you know, big majority of the time. And we know Kool-Aid McKinstry, as you've seen in some of the clips here, can be really suffocating in man coverage and can really break on a ball when he sees it and when it presents itself. Appreciate you guys watching. Peace.